Helbert Lopez started Florida Law Advisors on a whim by visiting a vacant office space. Make sure to check out his story. Welcome back to the Revenue Roadmap Podcast, the show for growth-minded family law professionals. If you're looking to drive revenue, increase profit, and grow your firm, this is the podcast for you. I am your host, Tyler Dolph, the CEO of our digital marketing agency called Rocket Clicks that focuses 100% on family law firms across the country. And we can do that because we built and own our own family law firm that is called Sterling Lawyers that has grown to over 30 attorneys and 25 offices across 2 states. So we have been there, we have done it. We now help family law firms across the country, and we have built this podcast in an effort to help you grow your firm. Helbert started his law firm on a whim. After going to law school, he did not think he was going to be an attorney, but decided to change his mind, and he has built Florida Law Advisors now to 3+ attorneys. I hope you enjoy his episode. Helbert, thanks again for being with us today. Really appreciate your time. I'd love to have you introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about your law firm and how you got started.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm basically an entrepreneur. I have different businesses before. And I mean, how I started the law firm, it was kind of like out of the blue. One day I was looking for office spaces because I do real estate too. And that's how kind of like I start like noticing that there were people selling law firms. And since I was an attorney, then that's how it caught my attention, and I decided to start looking into creating a law firm. And
that's insane. You got to go all the way back for us. So did you go to law school and you were an attorney, but you weren't practicing? And so
I went to law school, but I never thought I was going to practice. I just wanted to have more tools for my businesses. And then 2 years later, that's when I thought, oh, maybe I can do this. Why not?
Really? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I started with an SBA loan that helped me with the building and all of that. So that was very helpful too.
So take us back to kind of those early days. You stumble upon this office space. You think, okay, I'm gonna start my own law firm. What were some of those like initial learnings? Was it as easy as you thought it was going to be? Was it more difficult? What kind of hurdles
more difficult of what I was expecting for sure, especially for all the regulations and all the rules that we have to follow. So it's definitely a different type of business. So a little bit more complicated than what I thought, and but again, it's like any other business. It has also a lot of pros, and it's still on the process of learning and growing. So I think hopefully in the future my answer will change a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. Did you always want it to, like when you were starting out, was a family law firm focus like the idea, or did that evolve over time?
No, that kind of evolved over time. It was mainly because we purchased this domain and it has more traction with family law. So we thought like, it's at the end of the day, with any business, as you probably know, it's, what can you sell? And so, I try my business. I try my business as a business, right? So it was more like, okay, what makes sense? What type of services can we offer or can we sell? So family law seems to be really simple. We also do debt collection, which is also kind of like very simple. And bankruptcy is tricky because it's been steady, kind of on a decline. But at the same time, I think that in the future, it could be a strength in case of a recession or something. I think that will help us If there is ever a downturn, then bankruptcy could help with the revenue. So that's what I keep that practice as well.
Okay. And so from that, moment, like I'm going to start a law firm, even though I had never planned on it, to today, how big is your firm today? And what are you really proud of as you've built this firm over the last few years?
Well, right now we have 3 attorneys of counsel and family law. We're kind of looking to hire somebody full time. So we're looking into maybe one of these attorneys can turn full time with us. And we have one attorney on bankruptcy full time, and we have a part time attorney on immigration. So we've been kind of trying immigration as well. That's kind of like something that it's on progress as we speak.
Love it. Love it. And is the plan talks about the future? Like, what's the plan for your firm? I think what's interesting, or maybe an interesting approach that you've taken that we don't hear all the time, is treating your firm like a business. In law school, there's like one class on running a business, and then you go and you create your own firm, and holy cow, you got to make payroll, and you got to pay rent, and you got to do the books. And so, because you had your prior business experience, that was something that you were able to have as an advantage. But for our listeners who are maybe newer to this game and to entrepreneurship, what were some of those kind of thought processes you had back in the day, and what are you using today to continue to move your firm forward?
Always looking for a way to have workflows and check marks with everything, and it really helps when you try to scale. When you can have a structure that you can delegate to your employees so they can follow procedures. So that's something that I knew before. So when I started with the law firm, I was like, okay, we need to have good workflows and process and procedures for everything that we do, and it's something that we continue doing every day, and it never ends because you have to continue. There are always updates and changes. So you have to update your procedures. So from time to time, we go back and review, or every time I see an issue, I go back to my procedures. Okay, why this happened? And then I try to see how we can avoid that in the future. And sometimes that includes update of procedures. So I think that's something that is key on when you're running a law firm that I'm assuming that not many people really think about it because we don't learn that in law school. But
yeah, process is literally the great differentiator as you're scaling and growing. If you have every one of your lawyers running a different process or on their own island doing their own thing, it's really hard to scale, until you systematize all of those playbooks.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes with even with the newcomers to adapt, because some people they are used to do things their way, and you have to tell them like, no, we do things here differently. This is the process that we need you to follow. So that can create some frictions sometimes, but it's crucial. Like if they don't follow the procedure, then everybody is kind of like doing different things, and you can run a practice like that. Almost.
Yeah, 100%. Even across different mediums or types of law, knowing that you practice a few different things, did you start kind of like chunking it out? Okay, I'm going to do all the family law practices and all the process here and then go to the next one? Or how did you?
Yeah, it's been exactly. Yeah, and for bankruptcy, I support myself a lot on the attorney that I hire. He's board certified, so he knows a lot more than me. So it was easier to kind of like take his ideas. And I still struggle a little bit with him because, he has his way to do things, but then I have to kind of like, hey, we need this structure so the rest of the team can function around you. And, when people are not used to these rules or procedures, they kind of put some resistance, but at the same time, once they see the results and start like, okay, maybe you're right, and then they start merging into it. But it's a process, so that was very helpful to have him in the bankruptcy. In immigration, for example, I'm just about to start that, so we don't really have all the process and procedures, so that's going to take some time.
Sure, absolutely. Talk to me a little bit about the culture that you've built and that you're building. We talk to a lot of law firm owners who talk about the opportunity to lead people and to help their clients in difficult situations. And in order to do that right and get people on board, you got to build a great culture. Is there anything that you're doing that stands out?
Internally, when we hire, I always try to ask questions related to a culture to see how they approach life in general. Um, because I feel like we need employees that care for the client, right? And that's gonna reflect on your final product and client satisfaction, whether or not you're gonna get good reviews. So right from the moment that we hire, I try to see if they share those values. Um, so it's tricky, right? Because you never know if they actually share those values or not. But like we try from the beginning, you know, to target people that we believe they have that sympathy for the clients. And you can really tell when they're not a good fit that sooner or later they're going to be more friction with the clients, or they start having issues with the rest of the team.
Yeah, 100%. Love it. As we kind of close up here, Helbert, thinking about a younger attorney or a law school student who's thinking about going out on their own and starting their own firm, do you have a piece of advice for them as they're thinking about building their own firm?
If they want to build their own firm, I mean, definitely have a lot of planning, right? Kind of like we were saying, spend time thinking about their process and procedures. Uh, they can try to get mentorship, with a senior attorney as well. It's very important. But it has to be somebody who is open to be flexible, right? And to adjust their systems. There are a lot of tools though now that are really helpful, but you have to have the mentality that the goal is always to have a system, and you got to put time into it, right? It's time consuming.
100%. Yeah, and you got to be willing to put in the hard work for a number of years to get to a place that you can really build a firm you're proud of.
Yeah, and I guess you have that clear that you're going to allocate certain time to work on the firm and then work at the firm. That could lead to success. But if you don't have that clear and you're just working for the firm, then it's going to be very hard to scale.
Yeah, you got to have a team, right? What was the first hire you made after you?
So I started right away with paralegal and an attorney. I thought that was the right way to go. But obviously, you gotta work kind of like before you launch with a payroll. You gotta have your marketing in place, which is gonna be another crucial part of the business. So you always have to think again, getting back to like think about this as a business. So like any business has to have these departments, even if they're in your head, but you have to think, okay, what I'm doing in marketing, what I'm doing in production, and then the people itself are gonna produce the product, right? Like,
yeah, 100%. That's so helpful. Helbert, I really appreciate your time. I love your story. I love the like spontaneity of building a firm based on finding a building. And the fact that you're able to be successful, like that's a really, really crazy story. So obviously, congrats on all your success, and really appreciate you sharing time with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed this interview with Helbert. We are continuing this interview series, so make sure to check them out in our previous episodes. We try to do one of these a week, so I really hope you're enjoying them, and we will see you next time on the Revenue Roadmap.